Welcome to the second episode of Game Scoop.
Nice.
Alright, that was supposed to be welcome to the second episode of Game Scoop Thursdays. I'm Alex O'Connor, and joining me here is Mr. Jojo Camarillo.
Right on.
And also the dude who built our website, Jeremy Jones.
Hi there.
It's the webmaster.
So, yes, the webmaster. So, we got our website up and running, and it's got some forums on there. More are going to be coming later on.
Like 2 on there right now.
Right.
Well, technically 3, because the podcast section is there. It's just hidden.
Alright, I need to unhide that.
Yeah, maybe just a little. So anyway, what we've been playing this week is, I think, for the most part, again, Diablo 3. At least I didn't really play as much this week, but I think there was a couple minutes of Diablo in there. How about you, Joe?
I killed a bit of Diablo. Played some indie titles. I played Fez and played, The Road Not Taken? The Road Not Taken. I like the Fez, though. It's kind of like a little Mario. I like the R1 and R2 switching around the perspective.
I've heard good things about it.
It is good. I liked it. I looked up and there was time missing. I realized I couldn't play Diablo because the same thing happens with Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about it for me. I took a trip this weekend and wasn't really able to play the games.
Yeah, I was working this weekend. Well, Jeremy, I know that you were also working this weekend, but
Don't remind me.
what did you play?
Not a whole lot. Been putting in a lot of time on Project M, Brawl's weird modded cousin. It's a lot of fun. Very different from Brawl. A lot of the characters play way differently, and for the most part, it was designed to feel more like Melee, and it's a lot of fun to play. Other than that, I've got a little bit of time in on Space Engineers, and that's about it, really. I haven't had a whole lot of time for gaming this week.
Well, I know that a game you feel pretty adamant about will be the upcoming Alien Isolation, which was
right.
October... What was that? October 17th, did they say?
October something.
Or was that Borderlands? Getting one of them confused.
No, one of them was October. No, Isolation is in October. October 9th? Was it?
Yeah, 7th. I think it's actually 7th. I'm sorry. I had to.
You got
You're
I'm flagging. I had it over here the whole time. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the 7th of October.
7th of October?
Okay.
Yeah, for Alien Isolation.
Isolation actually looks
Woo, scary.
like they've done it really well. I enjoy the fact that they didn't focus on multiplayer and just dilute the game like they did with Colonial Marines. Because adding in the multiplayer was an afterthought and it was terrible. But when they put Isolation as just a single player game in a world where nowadays people don't really release single player games. Unless they're like little indie games or, like Bethesda, you don't get a whole lot of AAA titles that are saying, hey, let's do a single-player game because multiplayer sells. But the fact that they are able to be doing this in the single-player environment is really exciting because it's just you and the alien. It's not you, an alien, and a friend that you can release some steam with. It's you and him. And I think that's
Alone in
exciting.
the dark and in space.
I think that's really exciting.
Trapped in the 80s.
The retro,
Yes.
like VHS recordings they did, which are, again, super awesome that they added that layer of authenticity by recording things onto actual VHSs. Like, where did they find a VCR?
I don't know. Well, actually, there's one in my living room.
My grandma's.
So can't really say much about that.
I stand corrected. Never mind. Forgive me.
So, you're a big Aliens fan, and how about that pre-order DLC to play as Ripley and the rest of the crew?
Oh, the pre-order DLC, there's 2 of them if I remember correctly. One's only available through GameStop. The regular pre-order DLC just for pre-ordering is Crew Expendable, I think. And that's the one where you get to play as I think you get to play as Dallas, Ripley, or someone else, I don't remember. But it brings you back to the Nostromo. And being a huge fan of the first Alien movie, the atmosphere, the horror of it all was awesome, and the fact that they brought back the or most of the original cast for it too, really does just speak volumes of how it's going to feel when they're playing it. So yeah, the pre-order DLC is actually going to be very, very exciting. I think I'm going to like that about as much as I like playing the original game, just because of how much I love the original movies.
You also, what about that Last Survivor?
Last Survivor, that's what it was. Because there's Crew Expendable and Last Survivor. I forget which one is GameStop exclusive. One of the two is. The other one is just a pre-order bonus. One's just a pre-order bonus from GameStop, if I recall correctly. Last Survivor. Last Survivor. That's right. Last Survivor is GameStop exclusive. That's when you play as Ripley during the last parts of the first Alien movie, when you are trying to deactivate the self-destruct sequence. Very iconic scene in the movie. And very, very tense. And the fact that you get that extra little mission out of it. It's going to make me pre-order from GameStop. Period. I actually think I already have it pre-ordered for PC on GameStop. So yeah, that's also super exciting.
And hopefully it won't end up like another Colonial Marines, which just judging by the trailers, it doesn't look like it will be.
Yeah, no,
far from.
It looks significantly different. It's not a shoot 'em up. Hey, let's mow through hundreds of aliens like they've been doing in the past. It's very much a survival horror. Very much you're there alone with this terrifying thing that could be there at any time. And the focus isn't on killing it. The focus is on surviving. It's on getting away. And that's where a lot of horror games have shined in the past, is on games like Amnesia, on games like Outlast, games like that, where you are powerless. And it's so unlike a lot of video games where you're Master Chief, or you're calling in airstrikes, or you have all this power behind you. Being completely helpless in a situation like that is a good change, and it's a good feeling. It's very psychological.
It's like one of your main tools is just that homing beacon thing that you have,
the
that
radar,
old school radar, and it's just a blip.
Yep.
So
you don't know if that's actually the alien or if that's something else, because a lot of alien games in the past have made a point to use that radar to mislead you, to add to the horror, because it'll pick up like a swinging chain, it'll pick up a cat running around, things like that, and when you're huddled around a corner, terrified because you think the alien's on the other side, and you go out there and it's a cat, that actually I'm pretty sure that happened in Alien, if I remember correctly too. Something very similar to that, because she ran into Jonesy.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. I am so excited for it. That's one of the that and Destiny are two of my most anticipated games I think I've had in a long time, actually.
Definitely Destiny is, I think, on, well, at least all three of ours top list.
Yeah, no, Destiny,
pretty much on a
Destiny is why I'm getting an
bunch
Xbox
of top
One.
list.
Just sitting on the top, yeah.
Well, I mean, right before we started broadcasting, we did start talking about Minecraft, which is completely a different tone from Alien Isolation. But we were just talking about the lighthearted feeling and just how far Minecraft has come, and just some things that we may have done in the game.
Minecraft at the very beginning, I remember I was part of it in the alpha when it was like $5 or something, when it still didn't have like anywhere near the amount of features that it has now. And even then, it had a certain charm to it, because not a lot of games had done anything very similar to it at the time. So getting together with a bunch of friends and trying to accomplish something like that was really cool, because back then the scope was so limited. You didn't have these like massive superstructure things you can do that you can do now. Now, while Minecraft is still fun, it's not a game that I would play by myself anymore, because it's become so abstract and sandbox and riddled with features. It's by myself, I'm not accomplishing anything. I mean, there are some people who get some satisfaction out of making giant replicas of things and stuff like that. And I mean, that has its own appeal to some people. It's just not really why I play a game like Minecraft. I would, if I wanted to be creative in that aspect personally, I would not be playing a video game for it. But that's just me. A lot of people find a creative outlet through that, and that's something to speak for.
Speaking on that note too, I'm lucky enough to work somewhere where we sell those, and I ran into a customer, and she was talking about she had to purchase a new one for one of her children, and we were discussing issues with her child. Her child has a form of autism, and she was letting us know how that's his output, and really, you talk about people playing by themselves. That's what I started thinking about that, because he just sits and goes to town on that, and it really helps him communicate. So
it's turned in from a what it used to be before, which was just a little building mechanics game like Legos, into a much more creative outlet now, with all the stuff that they've added to it. And I dare say it's more interesting to look at it from the perspective of a creative outlet than it is to look at it from a purely mechanical aspect in a game like Minecraft. Because, I mean, really, if you look at the mechanics of Minecraft, they're all very simple. They're nothing particularly innovative.
Yeah.
But the creative outlet that it gives you in the massive, nearly infinite sandbox that you have is very impressive. And I do respect it for that. And I still have my Minecraft account, so.
I mean, I personally haven't played a lot of Minecraft, but from just what I had played, playing it on my own just wasn't fun to me. I know that a lot of people like playing it on their own, but I just couldn't get into it. But if I jumped into a friend of mine game, it was all right. It's still not my cup of tea. But Space Engineers, on the other hand, looks interesting. I know it's very Minecraft-esque, but set in space. So
Space Engineers took a lot of stuff from the whole Minecraft thing, and like a lot of games have since Minecraft became big, to deal with sandboxes, and again, exploring the creative outlets that people can do with having complete freedom in something. Space Engineers is far more physics-based, and I think that does appeal to a different crowd of people than the lightheartedness that Minecraft can have, and the ease of use. Space Engineers is a completely different tone, in that everything you have to do, you have to be very, very methodical and careful. While it's amazing fun smashing two ships together, the amount of time investment required, at least in survival mode, to create your ships, and how carefully you have to protect them and the feeling of loss that you get when you actually lose something that you spent time to build, is not something that's so easily replicated in Minecraft, because Minecraft, generally speaking, you can rebuild things very quickly. Things are generally not massively destroyed. In Space Engineers, you spend 5, 10, 20 hours building a ship that you love, and you went through and welded everything together from scratch, which takes a lot of time and gathering the resources. If something goes wrong and you lose one of your thrusters and you smash into an asteroid, there's a legitimate feeling of I want to avoid that catastrophe, which is interesting in a sandbox game where a lot of times people are let's just smash things together and watch it happen. And I've always liked games that can keep you attached like that. Games that can draw you in and I have invested something into it and I don't want to lose it. That's the same. That's one of the reasons I like DAYZ so much, because you're this character and your stuff might not really matter. You don't have skills. You don't have really stats to speak of, but your gear and your experience of being in the environment there, you don't want to die. You don't want to lose it. It's not a game you treat like a first-person shooter where you die 1,000 times and it doesn't matter in the slightest. you have an attachment to it, and I think that's really cool. In most games, just to have that immersion and that attachment there.
They should allow you to have some sort of like insurance program in these games.
They're doing that in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah,
or did it in Grand Theft Auto 5. They're bringing it out to PC. I remember, and I'm also excited about that because big PC gamer here. Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC is also up there actually on my list of games to look forward to. I forgot about that completely.
Well, you had all the console players beta testing it for you.
People keep saying that. It's always nice when a game that started on console comes out for PC. And again, I'm a huge PC gamer, but there are a lot of PC gamers who take it a little too seriously. When they say that the whole like PC master race thing that people do, it's like PCs are good. They can generally push out higher frames and they can generally push out better graphics, but that's the extent of the difference. And if you define your gameplay experience primarily by your frames and your graphics as opposed to the gameplay mechanics and how the game actually feels, then I think there is a allocating your priorities there, because you really should be feeling how the game plays and how the game makes you feel, rather than my graphics are shinier.
It's a division amongst the gamers. Yeah,
graphics are not key. I will play a low definition indie game if it is amazing over like a AAA blockbuster that's a cookie cutter piece of crap any day. That's why I'm not going to buy the next Battlefield, probably.
No.
Because they're beautiful. It's gorgeous.
PlayStation's done just because that's the console that I use more than anything else. They've done a really good job with their indie titles this year. And I really think that some of those indie titles are as good, if not on par, or maybe even better than some of the AAA titles. Because like even the one that's coming out, the one we were talking about with this, where you're going out there into space and you're discovering the planets.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. If it plays as well as it looks,
yeah, I've seen that.
If it plays as good as it looks, I mean, those guys were independent. They blow away some.
Oh yeah.
They'll blow away some major titles that way.
And I mean, like I said, it's not just about graphics. Those guys don't have the fancy engines and things that everyone else has. They don't have Frostbite.
It's just good gameplay, man.
Exactly.
Well thought out gameplay.
And that is way more important and something that people, I think, personally need to focus on more these days as gaming evolves from, lighthearted let's run through Mario onto something that can be used as expression, something that can be used to provoke thought and evoke emotions in people.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of games that have done that really well. Mass Effect, for example, is one of the, in my opinion, one of the most artistic series of games that have been out there in a long time, if not period. But there are also other ones that stand out, like The Last of Us.
Yeah. Good game. Very good game.
I've heard amazing things about it. But games like that where you're not just jumping in, playing a video game real quick, it makes you feel something.
Well, you invest that time in there. And like you mentioned with The Last of Us, that game had so much emotion. I remember playing that game, and it wasn't so much that, you got kind of spooked out with, I got kind of spooked out with the clickers every now and then, because you're like, oh crap, or you thought you had them and you didn't, they turn around and got you. But it was more of the storyline and just being caught up going, oh no, yeah, that's, and even with the, I noticed with the DLC on that Last of Us, I don't know if you've played that yet with the DLC on there,
Left
Behind. That was a really, really good filler with the story between her and her friend, and you got to take that journey with them, and they did a really good job of making you pretty much be her friend. So I, when not to throw a spoiler, but if you haven't played it, you need to. It was when she left, I was like, oh no, she's gone.
Yeah, it's emotional attachment. It's the thing that I play video games for a lot. I mean, some people will play it to burn time. Some people play it to relieve stress.
Yeah.
I tend to play video games because they make me feel like I'm disconnected from this world and
break time.
Yeah, placed into somewhere else. I've had enough of my day or whatever I've had, and I dive into the video game to actually be there, not here. And that's a bit of escapism, and maybe not. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do sincerely enjoy when something bad happens in a completely fictional world. And people who read books, people who watch series will also get that feeling. It's the same thing with video games, that you're in that world for a little bit of time. You've suspended your disbelief that that's not real, and things start mattering. That's why I play.
Yeah.
Kind of like those Red Wedding.
I was gonna mention those. Oh my gosh! You brought up a point, though. I'm gonna jump back and forth. Sorry about that, but about like DayZ and the other ones where you have so much invested and you don't really want to just go in there and just treat everything like it's first-person shooter. I had this thought the other day. What if they took games like Battlefield for like the Battlefield series, or if they took the Call of Duty series, and when you're collecting all these weapons and stuff like that, because I've always wished they'd do this. If you die, you lose all your weapons. You lose all make a serious hardcore, because in my opinion, some of those games like that are good games. If not for certain things.
Right.
So if you made everybody treat that game with that much intensity and that much seriousness, and go, okay, you're going to lose all your points, you're going to have to start from scratch. I think you'd probably have a better game.
Oh yeah, no, you'd have people who are incredibly cautious, who would play incredibly differently. It's similar to how Arma 2 and Arma 3 have played on PC, is what DayZ was originally based off of.
Yeah.
It's based as one of the most realistic military simulations that there is out there. Having to do everything from making sure you're hydrated and stuff like that to keeping track of your ammunition, to making sure that if you die, all your stuff, all your progress, everything is gone. Bandaging wounds and things like that. And they play significantly differently. And I do love the concept of a hyper-realistic shooter like that. It's just the question is whether or not the bigger companies would think it would sell. And judging from Arma's experience, it's been a very niche game. It's been a very, let's play it with some friends, but not, advertise it, blow it up, and sell millions of copies out the door. And that's kind of the problem. People nowadays, their attention span is fairly short. So
what were you saying? I'm sorry.
yeah. So, their attention span is fairly short. So going with something like, with a huge investment in time like that, I wish it was more prevalent. But it's just not.
Is Arma that one that because there's one that was out on PC? It was a shooter that was out on PC that's making its way to console. That was you had no HUD, you had your limited ammo.
There was Operation Flashpoint, which tried to do that. I think it was on console a long time ago, though.
Yeah, it came out. It had a disc-based release too.
Yeah,
or at least maybe that was a sequel or something.
There's one coming out that's supposed to be hyper realistic like that. I forget which one it is, but you're going to have limited ammo. You're not going to have any HUD. It doesn't bring out all the.
That does sound cool. I mean, even if you don't necessarily do the incredibly realistic aspect, like, okay, if I'm playing a console game, I understand that I don't want to deal with my dude's hunger or thirst or something like that. For to some extent, that does seem appealing. It's kind of cool to have that, but if you don't include it, I'm not going to bite your head off. If you don't include fatigue and stuff, okay, a little bit of suspension of disbelief there. But the whole superhuman who's running through like hundreds of bullets and like taking down entire armies by himself, it's a little ridiculous. And I think as video games are maturing overall as a medium, it's going farther away, or I like to think it's going farther away from, the single person superhuman to more real stories, to more things you can connect with, things that again you get attached to. And I hope it continues to go that way, and being able to see realistic simulations like Arma get 2 sequels, Arma 2 and Arma 3, and to have similar releases like that coming out, and games like DayZ flourishing. It gives me a lot of hope that people are starting to get ready for these more mature games that take a real investment for, and some people may argue that's not a good thing, but I mean, I'm a gamer. That's what I do. So, that's just a natural progression to me.
It just makes it seem like it's more like that pay to play, almost kind of the same concept where you purchase all your weapons and you get to purchase all the all the gear and stuff like that. I don't know, if you're going to pay that much for a game and you're going to sit there and you want to enjoy it and you're going to grow your game and you're going to grow your character, I think they should make like that hardcore mode, if you will, call it hardcore, make that more of a standard, and instead of, like you said, superhuman running through bullets, don't make that your standard mode. Make that your easy mode.
Make that like your party mode.
Make you admit,
your casual mode.
Yeah, your LAN party mode. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a ton of fun. I love LAN parties. I love like playing Halo or Call of Duty or whatever with a bunch of people around and just messing around and just shooting each other, and it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a different experience when you're by yourself playing, even if you're playing online with other people, because you have this sort of like, I'm in, this is my character feeling.
Well, you're more careful with what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Diablo 3, their hardcore mode, isn't it? If you die, you're done, pretty much.
Yeah, with that character, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh God, that sounds like a nightmare.
That's what we should do Friday, man. We should all of us do that Friday.
That would not go well. I would probably die within 5 minutes.
Well, you be careful then, though, right?
Permadeath is terrifying. Maybe.
I just run into that game, shooting everything with crossbows and stuff. I give no consideration to my player health.
I'm sorry, man.
All the damage output, none of that.
Pretty much. I mean, I'll just be sitting there, and it's, I think, normal mode. Is that what they start you off on?
Yeah.
And I mean, I just get surrounded by enemies. I'm thinking like, I should be dead by now, but I'm not going down. So I don't exactly know why. So I'm still sitting there shooting away, and that's why I'm not paying too much attention to my character health, because at that point I don't care, because it's not going to make a difference.
And I think it is different in a game like Diablo, and because I mean, Diablo, due to the nature of it being like a top down and things like that, it's not quite as immersive. It's still a stat based thing where you're like doing, at least I think. It depends. A lot of people get.
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah,
a lot of people do that. I mean, heck, Dungeons and Dragons, for example, people get way into that, and I don't blame them for it. Yeah. Even though that's entirely stat based, it's all about what number beats what other number.
Rock, paper, scissors.
But people still get really into that, and I mean that's exciting too. I think Diablo did a good job at trying to get that same sort of mechanic, but it might just be that I've never been hugely into that kind of game. They can be fun. I played Van Helsing, which is basically a Diablo clone.
Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. It's actually really, really bad.
But yeah, there's like.
But they know it's bad. Like they make references to like how bad it is in the game. But I think it's a different kind of gameplay. Definitely different kind of immersion.
If only this was on video right now.
Right.
Right, all the dogs just ran to one corner of the room for some reason.
They thought your phone vibrating was the garage door.
Wow.
So, sad for them, it is not. But yeah, the permadeath thing, I think, has been something that's come into a lot of discussion, at least with developers lately. as to whether or not they want to put it in their game.
A lot of developers have it as an option. Space Engineers even just added it in just one random update. They're like, oh yeah, you have the option to toggle permadeath now. It's like, I would never do that in Space Engineers because I have spent like 12 hours on this, and it's absolutely terrifying to have like, especially a game in alpha like that where you could die from being like splattered against physics. But yeah, a lot of games have just added it as a thing. Minecraft has had it for a long time. Games have just thrown it in there, and it adds a different experience. It's not something I would want as my primary game mode for a lot of them, but it is something where if I want a challenge, I'll do it. Like I did it in Minecraft. I did a survival thing. I had my main game with my friends and their server and whatnot, and it was fun, lighthearted. And then I had my my hardcore one where you only have one life, and it's a completely different experience. You're not taking risks, and it's a weird almost extension of like what you would do if you were actually there. That's a good thing about permadeath, because when you're playing a game, even if you have investment in it, you take risks you wouldn't have taken in real life.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have jumped across that stupid chasm in real life. No, I would have went if I had to get across there. I would have built a bridge or something, or tried to find a way around. Video games have conditioned you to just sprint off the edge of things and not have to worry about the consequences. Yeah. But permadeath makes it be like, okay, this is closer to what I would do in real life. It's a more true representation of placing someone in that world and seeing how they would react, not how their superhuman character would react.
They should title that. They should come out a game with a game like that and just say, "Look, you only have one life. That's the title of the game." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I think the game should just be called Permadeath.
Permadeath.
Yeah, Permadeath the game.
Right.
You buy
$60. You die. It's over.
Yeah, you buy the game. You get one life. If you die, sorry.
Pay to play would be your next life, I guess.
I guess
Our new DLC pack is your next life.
You could just buy infinite DLC for a new life. That sounds evil and almost delightfully entertaining.
That's your annual subscription.
Exactly. You get one life and you just pay for a new one. Again, that sounds absolutely evil. But
I know that people would be absolutely heartbroken if they got to the very end of that game with no problems, having not died at all. And then just died at the last level, and
should have been careful. Watch that landmine.
Yeah. You maybe got a little too cocky or something, but then that's it.
What they need to do. If you die, it fries your computer. You can't play games again.
Jeez.
Glitch. No glitch.
Now that would be a really bad permadeath game.
All of it. That sounds terrible.
Wow.
You die, you will never be allowed to play games.
It's a cool thought process.
It sounds too much like real life.
Yeah, right. It's a cool thought experiment. It's what would happen if that were the case, but God knows I would not want to play that myself.
No, I would not. But just with consequences of dying in video games, how do you think that's going to affect games like Dying Light coming out next year? Since you're, survivors in the zombie apocalypse, if you will, and you're banding together at your camps and your stations. I mean, how do you think that's going to happen?
I think having the whole, character thing like they did in DayZ, where you're a survivor, you have your gear, while at the same time having a more structured sort of ally system, so that you have cooperation. Because DayZ, I don't know if anyone here has actually played DayZ. It's you either know them and are talking to them in Skype or something, or you shoot them. There is no middle ground. That person running over there is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
There is no exception to that. Now, okay, I say no exception. I have had a few times where, I have made the call to, trust someone on there. It's very, very, very rare. But I think in a zombie apocalypse kind of situation where, you're in this wasteland and you're trying to survive, naturally people would try to find other people to be with, other people to form a group, and that's where I like a lot of the ideas of forming a camp, forming a group, forming a home base, things where you're cooperating with other people without assuming that they're going to shoot you on sight, because that's normally not everyone's first reaction in real life, is to just, oh look, it's a person, they're unarmed, let me shoot them. That's not the first thing most people would go to. But in a game like DayZ, where everything has become so hyper aggressive in DayZ regarding other players, it's shoot on sight, and there's almost no exception to that.
And shoot on sight, take all their gear.
Right, even if it's... And I've done this before, and I've had my group do it before. We try not to. We try really, really hard to avoid this because we feel like jerks. But we'll see new players, and
Jerk squad.
Maybe the new player happens to... Because if we find a new player and they don't have anything... If they don't have a gun, if they just have a baseball bat or something, we'll go, okay, just walk around him, just let him do his thing. We'll leave him alone. And a lot of people won't even give anyone that courtesy. They'll just kill him as a new spawn. But if we see someone and they have a gun and we have no way of avoiding them,
no questions asked.
If they are even remotely in our way and there's a person over there that could jeopardize the safety of the group, take him out, no hesitation involved. And then afterwards we go over there and we're like, he didn't actually have anything, we killed him and he posed no real threat to us, but there was a perceived threat. He could have done something to the group, but we didn't have that information. We didn't know that he didn't have, any ammo, for example. Yeah. But if the dude has a gun with no ammo in it, he couldn't have done anything to us anyway.
In games like DayZ, I did see a gameplay video of two guys. They had formed a group, and they actually... I guess we're in some sort of field. I think they were pinned down by a sniper, and they ended up getting the sniper. But as they were going through, they ended up going into a barn where they found another player who was getting attacked by the zombies, and they decided to help him out. And after they finished there, they just gave him some gear, bandaged him up, and just left him on his way.
When you get benevolent players like that, and I've tried to be that guy as much as I can, and I've had it happen to me once or twice. Way earlier in DayZ's development, when it wasn't quite as crazy, kill everybody on sight. When you get someone who is playing the game like they would in being an actual human, again, the whole how would you react in this situation, and not how I should react based on the game mechanics. Because that's what it's come down to. It's I'll lose my gear if I don't kill you. That's what DayZ's come down to. But in real life, you wouldn't necessarily react that way. You wouldn't necessarily shoot on sight. Most people would have a level of compassion for other people, and that's always something that it's utterly surprising to see. And that DayZ can still take me aback when something like that happens. It speaks volumes for just the game overall, because I can be amazed at what someone does or what someone doesn't do, and simple acts like that in a game where you do have permadeath in there. Someone choosing to spare you there actually means something. A little bit more than games you just respawn left and right. Is someone not killing you because they're camping or something, they feel bad, is one thing in the Call of Duty. But someone going, okay, if I kill you, this will matter, I'm not going to. It's.
I read somewhere, there was one of the magazines that I get. They were actually discussing the what we're talking about right now, and they were talking about how some games are helping people with morality issues, because, like you said, they'll shoot an innocent, so to speak, and then they all feel bad about it later. Or games like Grand Theft Auto, where you can do unmentionable things to people, and then, I don't know, it's crazy.
Video games are a very good exploration of morality because you put the player there. Movies do one thing, they make you think. Books also, put you into a world like that, but you don't make the decisions. video games are unique in that aspect that you're the one pulling the trigger. You're the one deciding what your character does. You don't have to do that. And it's a really good exploration of why did I do that or why didn't I do that.
At least you have like a voiceover in any of those games when you're doing something like that, shooting an innocent that says, you don't have to do that.
I think games that have like psychological aspects like that, and even single player games where you have characters that have moral issues with themselves, where it's more like a movie in that aspect, where you're watching this character have the issues. Because Mass Effect played that way. Mass Effect played where you're making a lot of the decisions, but you're still following Shepard's story. You're still following Shepard and everyone else's development, and you get to watch what happens with it and seeing and it's a good point that, like I said, you brought up. Just the exploration of morality in video games is phenomenal. That the level at which they've been able to delve into things like that.
They did that at least in Halo 3 when the flood first arrived on Earth, and you're going through some of the buildings there that are partially destroyed. You come up to the one Marine who's essentially sitting in a corner with all of his squad mates just laying dead around him. He's just like, I had to shoot them. The sergeant, everyone, they were all infected.
And you had a choice there, and that was just a very simple thing. That was back when, again, video games were still very, very lighthearted. Halo 3 came out at a time where it was mostly run 'em, gun 'em, shoot 'em up games still, and not nearly as much as we've gotten to very recently with the darkness that we've gotten in a lot of our games that makes people think. But they still provided that, like, your choice there, and it's this little thing. And I've had people shoot them, I've had people leave them there, and it doesn't matter what you do there. It just matters to you, because the game doesn't care. The game doesn't care what happens. It's very indifferent about the situation. You don't get anything for it. You don't get anything for not doing it. You're not rewarded or punished. In like Mass Effect, you have decisions that are rewarded or punished. This was just a purely moral thing, and it's so little you don't think a lot of it. But if you shoot him, you have to, why did you shoot him? Or if you didn't shoot him, why did you let him live? It's a little tiny thing that maybe a lot of people don't think about, but
and it could come down to something where if you walk up to him and if you decide to believe him and his claims of everyone in his squad getting infected, well, what if he's got it?
Yeah.
So then you have to make the choice. Well, if he's got it, why risk spreading it? And just
there's a lot of morality there. And I mean, okay, I'm speaking on it as though like I ran into it as a very emotional, like deep scenario. I will say, if I go through that level and I see him, I'll just melee him and keep moving. And maybe I'm heartless that way, but not everything always has to be that examination of it. But having it there and posing the question, at least, even if it gets ignored, is still very, very important, very telling. In a lot of games, because everybody's done stuff like that before. It's like, this is supposed to be sad and emotional, and I'm just going to blow through it because I've been through this level 15 times, and I just died at the last checkpoint, or I just died again, and I haven't gotten to the next checkpoint yet, and I'm done with you just yelling in my ear, just go away for a second.
Fallout. Have you played Fallout?
Oh, yeah.
Fallout is actually one of the ones that's a good example of the consequences for your moral or immoral decisions.
Yes, Fallout. I forgot about Fallout when we had the discussion. Fallout has done a really good job at it, because if you want to benefit yourself and you choose to be like, I forget what they use for it.
The karma? Or something about
the karma.
Yeah, good karma, bad karma.
If you go into bad karma, generally speaking, a lot of those decisions will benefit you overall monetarily, with weapons, things like that.
Changes the storyline too. Mm-hmm. If you want it, like with the Brotherhood of Steel as well, like if you want to get that cool armor from the Brotherhood of Steel, there's certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, but at the same time, if you choose to go against the Brotherhood of Steel, for example, then there are still other ways to deal with getting higher power things. I think, if I remember correctly, Fallout 3... You could also get the Enclave's armor, the
Yes.
Enclave with the bad guys.
Yeah.
So either one would get you essentially the same thing. It's just why do you want to do one over the other?
No.
And I find overwhelmingly people will pick the good path. Overwhelmingly people will pick, generally will pick Paragon and Mass Effect. They'll pick, good karma. They'll be overall good in Skyrim because it's been conditioned to say that, the good choices will benefit you more.
Yeah.
Fallout is very, a lot of times in Fallout, it's very blunt and to the point where it's like, yeah, well, if you kill this person, I'll give you, this thing, and if you don't, I'll, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not getting that benefit from being nice all the time in Fallout. Sometimes they do. A lot of times you end up getting... Because it ends up helping you down the line sometimes, helping people.
Yeah, because in those different areas, the people who followed, the different little townships, the ones who followed the certain places, you might be able to enter that town and it's okay without a fight because they see you as a hero or as neutral.
Right.
So whereas if you don't, they...
And I'm not saying Fallout doesn't incentivize, the good karma, because it does. You are the hero of the wasteland.
Yeah.
You are you're still a good character overall. Even if you go through bad karma, you're still a hero character. Not a whole lot of games have given you utterly free reign to choose if you're good or bad. And the only games that do that are the sandbox free roam ones, generally speaking, that will not have an adhered storyline. In DayZ, you can be the survivors guardian angel and stop a raider or something from killing a defenseless person, or you could be a raider. You could be one of those people. So
Yeah.
sandboxes have taken off a lot recently. I think partially because of the decisions that you can make.
There's just so much you can do with those things, with the sandlot. That's why I like those, because you don't have to adhere to just one straight timeline or one storyline. You make your own.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about the new things they were adding to DayZ, like the challenge modes? Speaking of DayZ, I mean not DayZ, but Dying Light.
No, I haven't myself.
Like, let's say you're playing and Alec jumps on, it'll say, so-and-so's in, do you want to join? You click yes to join them, and then you're off to challenges like who can kill the most zombies,
I mean, that's lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it's good to have something where you don't have to always be serious. Video games are a good exploration of how serious people can get and, moral issues like that, but a lot of times they're just there to blow off steam too, and having a challenge mode or something like that in an otherwise serious game is actually it's a good duality. It's a good let off from it. I don't always play. I tend to play games for the emotion and things like that. I don't always.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to come home and play something mindless. I mean, it happens, and
you just need something good and cathartic for it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think catharsis is a very good point there, because I don't know if anyone's played Dead Rising, but
I played whichever one came out free with the games with gold on the Xbox.
I don't remember.
Is that Dead Rising 2?
I don't remember. But if you want to talk about catharsis, go into Dead Rising, get yourself like a giant claymore or something, or like a broadsword, and just go through and just slice up an entire mall of zombies. It's like it's just a good, I'm just not doing anything serious. I just want to vent at these
I'm
things.
just killing time and disappearing for a while.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. To me, that's Call of Duty, though.
It is Call of Duty as well. It is. I mean, it's you're jumping in there and playing something lighthearted.
And that's what is kind of. I was thinking about
Always lighthearted.
Yeah, right. You razzle, razzle.
It plays that way, though. Is the thing.
I was thinking, because you look at an industry right now, like with the gaming industry and how we're fighting to stay, with all the places shutting down and developers shutting down and stuff like that, they need something. We need something to spark, like titles like COD, because I don't know how many people are going to really stick with that anymore. Because a lot of my friends, the fact that we're getting older, but also the fact that it's the same thing, it's rehashed, and it's become very monotonous. I don't like, getting into something where, somebody's glitching, there's no consequences for it, or, somebody's randomly throwing the grenades or, whatever, so I think, so they're going to lose, I don't want to say they're going to lose my money, but, they lose people's money sometimes that way.
It's a growing sentiment across the entire gaming industry that games like Call of Duty and even Battlefield and people are worried about it happening to games like Halo, that they become or have already become these like canned releases, the ones that are like, we're not going to do anything innovative. We're going to add new features to something that's already there. We're not going to push any boundaries, because if we push boundaries, maybe someone becomes uncomfortable. We push boundaries, maybe, we'll offend someone. Maybe something doesn't get bought because of it. But, I mean, you have a game like Halo that came out, and it was basically just going, hey, there's this hyper-religious body and things like that a lot of people could have taken offense to.
Yeah.
A lot of people could have and probably did take offense to the whole, like, overarching oppressive religion concept that Halo put out there. But Halo was trying to do something new. Halo 1 especially was just trying to do something new. It was trying to explore something. A new world even. And you get games like Call of Duty and games like Battlefield. They're like, well, it's identical to the one before with new features.
Yeah,
that's
just
all it is.
Just
they're updates. They're not even new games. They're, hey, we took Call of Duty 4 and added new guns and added new maps. That's what a lot of it comes down to. Is that, I mean, if you took Call of Duty 4 and just ported the maps back over to it and like the guns back over to it, it would play almost the same. No, and they are hype. They are incredibly multiplayer oriented games.
Yeah.
And they came up in a time where like competitive gaming and things like that were important. MLG dealing with like Halo, for example, and strictly speaking on balance and things like that, where the content of the game doesn't matter so much.
Yeah.
MLG, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how good Halo's story is in MLG at all. Period.
No.
It has an amazing story, but that's not what they care about. And when things like that, especially with EA doing games, I mean, it's like they've always done their sports games.
Yeah.
And I feel as though they turn their like first-person shooters a lot into it. It's like, this is competitive, and I mean, a lot of people like that. A lot of people like competition, and solely for the sake of beating someone else. And that is very, very at the core of a lot of gamers too. Hell, it's at my core in a lot of games too. I play Brawl. I'm not playing to have fun. I'm playing to kick you off the map. That's what I'm doing. I'm playing to win. That's just it's when you have the same game doing that repeatedly, it does get stale. It does get boring. I do say, and it becomes unoriginal, and it feels off-putting.
For as lighthearted as Nintendo games are, those are probably some of the most competitive.
Oh,
among your own friends.
My God! You're playing Brawl. People are yelling. People are in Nintendo games. It's Nintendo games that do it. You play Mario Kart. Mm-hmm. You play Mario Kart. You play Smash Brothers.
Mario
people
Party.
Are yelling at each other, and part of, I think, the charm of those Nintendo games is that people are yelling at each other. People are screaming at each other. And you look at the content real quick, and you realize that you're throwing like a mushroom at someone, or something dumb like that. It's like I literally just took like a cabbage out of the ground and threw it at your head, and I'm mad at it. What? So I like the lighthearted competition that it gives you. You realize how utterly absurd like Olimar is like throwing his Pikmin at people, or like all of those. It's funny how mad it can make people, but if you're staying mad at it, you're doing it wrong.
Blue shells ruin friendships.
Blue shell.
But that still harkens back to the old days of gaming, where everyone would get together for a LAN party. I mean, you don't play. Brawl has online capabilities. You don't play Brawl online. You don't. You have friends over. You just have a couple people over. You play Mario Kart, Mario Party. You have friends over. That's what it's for. And there's a social aspect to those that a lot of games have been losing.
They're more of the party games versus competitive online.
It is. And because way back when, games used to be about you and player 2.
Yeah.
That's what they used to be. You and player 2, and you're in the same room, and you're talking to each other. You're having a good time. They've changed into something completely different now, and I think it's really, really interesting to look at that, at how they've done that. Bringing
that up, not to give age away or anything like that, but I remember back in the day, or way back in the day, it was about getting on our land phone, because we didn't have mobiles, and calling your buddy up and going, hey dude, meet me at the 7-Eleven, or meet me at the pizza joint, and let's go play Golden Axe. Mm-hmm. You brought a fistful of quarters.
Right.
You dropped them up there on top of the monitor, and
the age of arcade gaming.
Yeah, because it was all about the community, your friends, and we were all that was
and
our LAN party.
Yeah. It does get a little bit lost these days. The whole socializing aspect, because you get on Call of Duty, you're not socializing. No, good goodness.
Well, you are, but you are in a way, but none of it's really pleasant.
Right? It's like you're not there in order to experience the presence of other people.
Yeah,
you're there to shoot them in the face.
You're there to.
You're there to
insult them too.
But unless you're squad,
okay, your squad. If you have a good team, I will say I have had. Yeah. I will take back a lot of what I said about Call of Duty if I'm playing with a really good team or against a really good team. I've had games where I've had a legitimately good other team versus my team, and it's been neck and neck. It's been, tense, competitive competition, not in a, I want to get more points kind of way, but in a, we have to work to beat them.
Yeah.
We have to overcome this because they're providing a very stiff competition here. It stops becoming, hi, I can get 50 kills, and starts becoming, what are we going to do now?
How are we
calling out orders to people and things like that, placing people where they need to be on a team game. I like that, and I will say that I've had a lot of good times in Call of Duty and Halo especially.
Yeah.
With a team, and I always have a better time with a team of friends that I know, and that's why I do like the social aspect of gaming with people you know, or gaming in the same place as people, because you get a sense of camaraderie, you get a sense of, this is my team, these are my guys, instead of, I'm matched with 15 randoms online, and I don't care about any of them.
Proven when you call the other players, they're just randoms.
Yeah, well, that's how it feels. They're random, and I've had very, very few situations online where I've met a random character that I actually, for lack of a better word, respect. Because most of them, they're doing their own thing. They're just floating around doing whatever, and they don't affect me.
Yeah, their mic turned off.
Yeah,
they're muted.
And even the ones that aren't muted normally aren't particularly helpful.
Yeah, the bringing that up though also reminded me at Gamescom. One of the last things I saw on the Gamescom was that the directors at Sony and stuff, they were discussing how this year they're really trying to innovate the social aspects of the game and make it easier to play with friends and stuff like that. Like with Far Cry 4, allowing you those keys to to send to your friends so that they can play even if they don't have the game. Of course,
that is actually really cool.
Great marketing scheme, I think. Mm-hmm. But
to get people to want to play it, to get people to want to do it, regardless if you're online or not, it's definitely interesting to try and get people that you know to come play it. Because as huge as online multiplayer has gotten, I think overall a lot of our interaction has gotten smaller. Overall, like the quality of, I'll say the quality of the interaction, of the social interaction, has gotten a lot lower a lot of times, because the quality of the social interaction I'll get from playing like some two-player game over like LAN at my house, a lot of times is higher than the quality of an interaction I'll get playing online.
Beta. Destiny's going to cure a bunch of that, though.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to bring that up because when Jeremy was talking about some of the multiplayer matches and how they're close, I mean, we ran into that a lot in the Destiny beta, where sometimes we would be winning, and we were probably
we would be winning.
We would
sometimes.
and we won a lot in there, but I mean, we would be a handful of kills away, and then when the final screen comes up, it's like your team lost, and it was only by a few points, 10 or 20 points, and it's
Bungie's done a good job at that. They did
excellent
it with Halo,
with
Halo, and with Destiny. I can't tell you how many games of Capture the Flag I've played on Halo, where it's like, oh my god, we have to stop them, everybody go, or when you're making it back and like you're fighting the whole way back to try and get the flag back to base or something. It's really good. Again, the sense of camaraderie and stuff that you get, and in objective games, you get a lot more of that than you do in Slayer and things like that, because you have a unified goal. It happens. That's why I've always liked playing games like Capture the Flag and things like that. And Destiny, I imagine will play very, very similarly because of Bungie's experience with Halo and things like that. They're going to be able to pull together a very a goal-oriented mentality when it comes to that, saying where we need to pull through the clench moments that you have, where it's like we need to either get together and pull right now and shine now, or it's not going to happen. Are very dramatic and are very they give me the tingles.
Yeah.
They give me the tingles
they do.
When you're playing it and you're like, okay, let's do this, and you're going and everything falls into place and you do it and you get it done and you're just on cloud 9 right there. It's like, yes, we did it. It's this overwhelming feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And the feeling when you miss it, that is an interesting feeling too.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Yeah, that's an interesting feeling. That involves either controllers being thrown or very strong language being exchanged.
Oh man, those controllers cost too much, dude.
No, I can't throw them anymore. I can't throw them anymore.
I just see dollars. No.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll punch like my couch or something. Like I'm pretty sure like my chair at this point has like an indentation for me, like just punching it because I'm upset at something. But controllers are actually like $60 or something.
Yeah,
now. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't do that. That's lunch for a week.
That's a new game in some
Right?
cases.
That's Destiny. I'm throwing Destiny right now.
Nerf needs to make the sponges for the controllers, so that you can throw it.
Nerf needs to make controllers. Why haven't they done this yet?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
They did it with DS cases.
Yeah, they did it with DS cases.
Well, that makes. I mean, they just thought, hey, all the younger kids, they'll drop it and stuff. But
it's us.
I think they'd probably make a lot of money with gamers.
No. If I could throw my controller, if I could, and I knew it wouldn't break, I would do that.
Yeah, that'd be, yeah.
That or someone who can make a covering for your TV just to place it there, so when the controller goes flying towards it.
Gorilla Glass.
Gorilla
Glass.
You throw the controller at the TV, or when you accidentally lose the Wii controller.
So next week we're going to hear how Gorilla Glass and Nerf
have gotten
had a compilation. Yeah, we'll get you now the Angry Gamers packet. There you go, the Angry Gamers packet.
Yep, I like it. I like it.
It might cost a lot, but it'll save you money in the long run.
Dude, right though? Imagine this like relief, just being able to like throw your controller.
Knowing you could, would you throw it then? Because it's always different. Because like
if I knew it wouldn't break, if I knew it was impossible to break it, I would.
But you also have to take in, where's it going to end up? Is it going to fly back at you and hit you in the face? Or is it going to go flying off in the other, like, far to the left of the room, and then you're going to have to waste more time getting up and running?
They were wounded by a ricochet controller.
I think the feeling that I would get out of throwing it would overwhelm me getting up. I would have calmed down from throwing it as a thing. I would have been upset, thrown the controller, and then been, okay, I'm done, I'm good, I'm cool, and then go get it and just keep playing. As opposed to just like stewing angrily at people, because I don't really curse at people online.
Yeah.
I'm just ball of rage, and like I'll like punch my chair or something, but it's not the same thing. And
I mean, then when you get sweet revenge on them in the game, then
yes, it's always satisfying.
Then it's all the bad feelings you had towards them is just gone.
Mm-hmm. You're validated finally.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same feeling in like Smash Brothers. I'll do that all the time. Someone will kill me, and I'll be pissed off at them, so I will go after them until I get my revenge. Yeah. And then once I get my revenge, I'm like, okay, let's move on. Let's do it.
All is right with
Let's
the
continue
world.
being friends now.
You've proven yourself.
We put a pause
right
on there
now.
real quick. Huh?
You've proven yourself. Now it's just
exactly.
It's all right.
Exactly. I've said that was bull, so now that I killed you, everything's fine.
We can start over now.
Yeah.
And just hope that the other person felt the same.
No, because the thing is, when you kill them, they'll get mad, and it's just a perpetual cycle
Endless-
until everyone runs out of lives.
Endless. But with permadeath,
with permadeath,
full circle,
grudges would be a nightmare.
That would be absolutely horrible with permadeath.
Yeah, no one would get anywhere.
there would just be too much, just revenge killing there and vengeance seeking out and
just chaos.
That sounds like Call of Duty to me, though.
Well, odds are in that permadeath situation, on your road to vengeance, you're gonna die.
Road to vengeance.
Then you're gonna.
Well,
hate
but that puts it into perspective. Do you really want to just like beeline towards vengeance and get yourself killed in the process, or do you want to just let it go and like stay alive? It asks like, what of those would be more important to you? If I got killed by someone in DayZ, I almost never chase them. I almost never come back and try to find them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I died. I'm gonna go get my new stuff, and I'm gonna try not to die again.
Well, I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of people that would just start up a new character and just go straight for them, and you're going to die a lot doing that. Because if you go in there angry, then
you end up getting more frustrated, and it's hilarious.
Exactly.
Speaking of team-based games, things like that. In Destiny, I think you guys have already talked about what classes you all would like to play as overall.
Yep.
In Destiny. Now, how does that really speak to your like play style as far as like team play goes? Because you get a lot of people who like, okay, we're playing capture the flag. I have a lot of people who say, well, I'm just getting a lot of kills, so I'm helping the team. In theory, yes. Sometimes you are, but a lot of times it can come down to the more technical aspects of things, like how you're assisting the group dynamic. So, how do you think you all would be playing with a team in Destiny? Just the dynamic and where you would fit in that.
We were discussing that while we were playing, actually, because we set them up like, if you had because I like to play the Hunter class. I'm really looking forward. In Call of Duty, I always carried like a semi-automatic, or I felt like I was forced to carry a semi-automatic weapon because it's pretty much run and gun all over the place. Mm-hmm. But in some of the objective modes, you could probably sit back with a hunter, and once you get all the classes, because I saw one of them, they said when you kneel, you'll almost turn invisible, or you can turn invisible as long as you don't move. So
cool.
You could sit there and snipe anybody coming towards your flags or anything like that. And Mr. Nova Bomb over here, Captain Nova Bomb.
I remember seeing him playing, and it's just like, oh, let's just blow everything up. There are some people who will play that way. I have a friend in Borderlands. He just all torque gun, just blows everything to smithereens.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's one play style. I guess you could just incinerate our foe, just everything. I've always been probably very similar to you, the support and recon type of class. Yeah. I prefer to avoid engagement if possible.
Stay alive,
to assist other people in doing their job.
Yeah.
So while Alex is running through the swaths of enemies, just detonating them, I tend to be the guy I tend to be the guy who's in the back, making sure someone doesn't come up behind him or something like that, and stab him in the back.
Joe's helped me out in a few cases there.
Yeah, and I get a feeling of satisfaction helping out other people on my team like that. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that I really am debating right now whether or not I would prefer being the hunter, who traditionally fits my playstyle of stealth and avoiding engagement and support, with some class like the Titan, where the Titan does get at least I know of one very, very useful support ability, the shield that he gets later on, and I love the drop shield in Halo. I love the bubble shield and the drop shield in Halo. And I think a lot of it comes down to the clench moment, because you create a clench moment there when you put the shield up and you're like, okay, we have like 15 seconds, what are we doing? Being in the middle, being in the thick of it like that, and having to make those on the fly, I need to make a decision now.
I think the support class, which is like you like support class, I like the support class also. I think the support class is kind of the unsung hero of the game, so to speak, because nobody really likes a support person for the most part. There's very few of us. Like if I'm playing Killzone, it's the medic, because you're backing everybody up, and you're like, you may have a higher kill death ratio, but you're alive because of that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Remember that.
Yeah. It's like I stopped you from dying as much. Now I'm not going to say that supports are necessarily essential. I've had entire teams just be just running gun and they've won, fine, whatever. Yeah. But I feel like you, as a support class, help other people get to their potential in it, and overall, if you're a good support, you're elevating your team's overall KD. Because a support, for example, shouldn't be dying a whole lot.
No.
So where it can be the argument, well, I could get 15 kills as a gunner and only 5 kills as a medic. Well, if I'm the medic and I let you get 25 kills instead of 15...
Yeah.
And I still only died a few times, then we're net benefiting the team with that. And I think support, it doesn't get as much blaze of glory as Nova Bomb over here.
Captain Nova Bomb. Yeah, we're gonna have to do like that.
Captain Nova
Bomb.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at the Destiny classes, I am usually the one who just likes to go in guns blazing and obliterate everything. But when I played as the Titan, I just didn't have that feeling. And I had purposely not picked the Titan when I first started off just for that reason, because I wanted to try something new and different. When I started playing as the Warlock and just going through, that was the... that was the first class that I had chosen, and that was pretty much the class that I had in mind since the 3 classes were announced. But I just get that just normal feeling to my usual gameplay, playing as the Warlock, just being able to go in, drop a Nova Bomb, and take out
everybody,
a large amount of enemies at the same time, and the Vortex Grenade that just sucks them in, and then the little melee attack that will what's the word I'm looking for?
Punch
that will punch them, but will also Disintegrate, that's it. The disintegrating melee punch. I like that one.
It is kind of neat looking. One thing I'm looking really forward to as the Hunter class is specializing into Blade Dancer.
Yes.
Is that the one that has the arc blade?
The Blade Dancer has the arc blade and throwing knives. The Blade Dancer, he forgoes his triple jump, which is weird. Because the regular class, the gunslinger, does have a triple jump in his tree, which makes him absolutely unsurpassed in movement. The double jump already makes him way better, at least getting to specific areas, than either the Titan or the Warlock. Getting up to higher areas is way easier with a double jump. The triple jump makes him absolutely unsurpassed and lets him get to vantage points that no one could even think of. Blade Dancer does get rid of that. Does get rid of the triple jump, but you keep your double jump. You do have access to your throwing knives, the ability to perform lunge strikes, and to become invisible actually upon lunge strikes.
Yeah, that's the one I was all excited about because I saw that. And that's one of the ones that I was like, oh, I have to be this because I saw the on YouTube. I saw the footage where they show the hunter, and then there's nothing, and then a few feet all of a sudden away from your enemy was the hunter again, just reappeared, and you're like, oh my goodness, what is that? That is awesome.
And chaining them together like that, the hunter becomes a very, very technical class, as opposed to the crowd control and damage dealing of the warlock and the support and how grounded the Titan is. The Titan is good at holding a position and
just a beast,
and just being just overwhelmingly just hard to defeat. The hunter becomes a very technical class. A hunter, especially the Blade Dancer, becomes where you have to decide whether you're going to throw your knife, whether you're going to lunge, whether or not you're going to just run at that moment and come back at it in a second. Because in combination of all these moves, it's you have a large amount of combination of things you can do. Do you want to lunge in there and then get your invisibility, jump out, come from another angle, or do you want to try to get 2 or 3 hits in? Do you want what is the best idea in this situation? And I've always loved very technical characters like that, where their mechanics are interesting, or the mechanics are, I have to think about what I want to do here. And generally speaking, technical characters like that, once mastered, do become
very powerful.
Do become very, very powerful. In most games, when you have a character that on the surface is not as strong,
those are usually key.
Is when you master them, they become very, 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 very devastating. In Borderlands 2, it was, in my opinion, it was Melee Zero, because Melee with Zero was not the first thing you want to do with Zero necessarily, and to begin with, Melee always sucks in Borderlands.
I haven't played anything but Zero. I usually get one character in the game and that's it, and Zero was it.
Zero was my character too, and Melee Zero was very, very technical. Melee Zero, with his deception and his kunai and his lunging and all of that, and his backstabs and things, you had to decide, do I want to lunge here, or do I want to take a second and step around him to do that? And it's when you're in the chaos of enemies like that, it's hard to just calm yourself down and say, I need to think here. And
that's that inner peace for that ninja, brother. That's
and
that
I
inner peace.
love that, and that's what I think I'm going to like with the Blade Dancer class in Destiny is finding your rhythm, finding your, for lack of a better word, finding your center in the middle of all the chaos. Because sniping is one thing. I mean, I can snipe from far away, and I'll be calm the whole time. It's I'm not worried. But if you're the Blade Dancer and you are right in the middle of them, you have to maintain your cool, and you have to try to. And I love that about that. And I was so excited when I saw that the Blade Dancer was going to be a class on there, because, truth be told, I really kind of don't like the golden gun for the gunslinger.
Yeah,
I feel like they could have done something different with it. But I mean, I understand how it fits in the gunslinger's mentality.
Yeah.
But I am just very glad that they've included a different way to specialize each of the characters, actually. I forget what the Warlock has, the Voidwalker and the Light something. What's it called?
It's on the tip of his tongue. Right?
Yeah. Sunslinger? Was that it? No.
That sounds too close against.
That was,
I feel
yeah.
like I don't do that.
I wanted.
It was something like that.
Something with the sun.
It was something sun.
You've got a point. You've got a point, definitely. With like, I'm sorry, but with the strategy and stuff, or your center, so to speak. I like because like going back to Borderlands with Zero, when you're in the middle of the fray and it's going off, it's I say finding your flow because there's a flow, in that battle because it's this person and that person and
You find it
Sunsinger.
Sunsinger.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
close.
Close.
What'd you call it? What was
Sunslinger.
Sling that sun.
Well, hey, at least they were talking about Lumhold before Destiny even started getting really talked about. Destiny or Bungie had said that sometimes getting punched by a warlock will feel like getting punched punched in the face with the sun. So,
but that makes
Sunslinger,
sense.
you're
Yeah,
throwing
that
the sun.
makes sense.
So.
Yeah. Next move, the Sunslinger. I like that.
Drop the sun on people.
But yeah, the technical aspects, finding your flow, finding your rhythm. Like I said, with it is for me supremely satisfying to be able to control yourself there, and where a lot of people would panic, a lot of people would start mashing buttons. I've had times where even as I'm playing Sniper Zero, I'll have times where I'm in the middle of something and I will just take a second, forget what's going on over here for just a minute, and line up that headshot, and then bam, and then move on, and then bam, and then move on.
Yeah.
Being able to prioritize things like that, taking them out one by one, is a severely different strategy from, again, Mr. Novabomb over here, and just blowing everything up simultaneously, which I suppose is incredibly entertaining to watch, and
It is.
And I won't lie,
very entertaining.
I won't lie. People like that, your DPS dealers, your crowd control, they are essential to winning a game like that. I may like to play as support. I don't wish that everybody played as support, because that would end terribly. You'd have like 5 snipers or something, and it's like it's not the most effective thing. And if I have a crowd, well, Call of Duty's different.
No, I said that is Call of Duty. Everybody's dressed up as snipers.
Yeah, I know, that's
they've
the
got
thing.
Speed, yeah.
But like for example, if we were all playing in Destiny, and I was the support class, and I was being the blade dancer, and I'm trying to deal with with a crowd of enemies. The blade dancer is not ideal for dealing with multiple enemies.
Yeah,
they're good for dealing with a small crowd, like 2 to 5 people maybe. Like if you're talking about regular enemies, they're not suited for dealing with a large crowd. If I got to the point where the crowd was too large for me to handle, goodness knows I would appreciate a Nova Bomb out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. It was like, thank you. That's what you're here for. I like that. I can't do everything on my own. Just like the Warlock isn't necessarily suited for everything either. The Warlock, from what I recall, is primarily, or has been primarily, a crowd control kind of person. That he does area damage in a lot of his attacks. Yeah. He ties people up with his moves, and he denies movement. And in that way, it is a very interesting kind of class, because it's the same as the Siren in Borderlands 2 in the whole controlling the battlefield. The Warlock is an overarching, these are the priorities, this is what's going on the field right now. I need to make sure these guys don't get there. I need to tie these guys up here. It's better with the hand movements, I promise, my description.
If you can't see them, they're flailing all over the place.
But it's a very wide scope class, whereas the Hunter is incredibly narrow.
Yeah.
The Hunter is, I have to kill this target first, next target next, one at a time. And the Titan, I feel, is kind of the middle ground between them. He has an area of control. He has a place that he can, hold down and exert his influence around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as wide as the Warlocks, and it's not as focused as the Hunters. Because even as a sniper, the Hunter's still very focused on one target at a time.
I think that what you just said about the whole area of effect and just what the character classes are more geared towards in Destiny, I think will help some people to maybe understand them a lot more, because I still remember on some of the Destiny forums on Bungie, a lot of people were talking about how the Warlock with the Nova Bomb and the Vortex Grenade had a very large area of effect versus the Titan's Grenade, which didn't really have that large of an area of effect, but just like what you said, with what the classes are more geared towards, that makes sense that with Warlock being crowd control, where you want that class to have a wider area of effect.
You want the area. You don't
Titan.
necessarily need as much damage, because I think the Titan's grenade does more damage than the Warlocks,
yeah,
at least to one specific point.
Yeah. Titans are the ones who probably should usually be out in the middle of everything.
Because they can take a beating. They can take a beating, and they don't need to call on other people as much. The Warlock does a lot of area damage, but when I noticed you playing, at least in the alpha, when you were playing as a Warlock and you jumped into a crowd of enemies after the initial hit there with a Nova Bomb and everything, you send everybody flying. They're all disoriented for a minute, but you didn't kill a lot of them. You damaged a lot of them, and you messed up their coordination, but finishing them off is a task that would be very well suited for the Hunter, especially if, for example, if a Warlock jumped in, Nova Bomb disoriented everyone, and a Blade Dancer ran in there afterwards.
You clean it up.
That's a good one.
Dead. And the Blade Dancer wouldn't have been able to do that without the Warlock, and the Warlock wouldn't have been able to finish them off as easily without the Blade Dancer there. So the synchronous between a lot of the classes is going to be interesting, and the Titan, I feel like, is going to really shine when you're in a defensive situation. The Titan is the person where we're pinned down. There's way too many of them. The Warlock's crowd control isn't necessarily doing enough, and the Hunter can't get in there, so the Titan's there to provide a backbone, to provide a structure, and to provide cover and things like that, because his shield, I don't remember what his second specialization was on there, but I know the first one had the shield at the very end, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, no, from the Destiny launch gameplay trailer, it did show the shield, but I think the other one is probably the one where he can jump into the air and then just pretty much Superman
Titan Smash, right? That's
Titan Smash, pretty much.
So he does sound like he can be done a few different ways. If I were to play him, I would use the shield. I personally, again, it falls to support. Yeah. But I like being able to be a port in a storm, even things like that, where everything is going crazy, and you have this bubble. Literally, you have a bubble.
You're a good person to play with, man. You're a good person to play with.
You just put a scenario in my head. Let's say you're in your fire team and you get pinned down a little. If if the Titan releases that shield and the three of you are all in it, let's say maybe you're fighting the Hive, so you've got a bunch of the I just forgot the name. What are they called?
Which ones?
The more melee based.
Are you talking about?
I just forgot the name of them.
The angry little... No, the
angry ones.
The angry little hive.
I just forgot what they were called.
I forgot what they're called, but they're annoying.
This is terrible.
No, you're alright.
I don't know how I forget these things. It just happens. But anyway, when let's say a bunch of them just run up on you. If they can't get inside that shield, I don't know if they are able to or not.
I imagine it'd be similar to the bubble shield where meleeers can walk through.
Maybe, but I mean, just get them all towards you, so just remain in the center of that shield, and as they all come running towards you, that's just when Warlock could just jump in the air, Nova Bomb him.
And it's the same thing when you played in Halo with the drop shield or the bubble shield. If you have your Blade Dancer in there, or if you have a Warlock in there, and they're able to like deliver their hits, because it's like being in the bubble shield when you have a shotgun. It's like I just turned a very, very long range disadvantage scenario. You have an assault rifle and you're killing me. If I throw a bubble shield up and I have a shotgun, I was going to lose that fight without the bubble shield. But all of a sudden, with that bubble shield there, you've cut the engagement range to 0 because nothing can get through it. So I do think the Titan's shield is going to be very, very interesting to play with. Did we find it?
We're looking for it.
Shriekers? They were the Shriekers, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were the Shriekers.
Yeah.
It definitely was a Shrieker because I remember it.
No.
Wait, are you sure?
With large armor plates sprouting from it. No, that's not it. Maybe it
maybe it was the Acolytes. Those were the
high
foot soldiers.
No, those were the bigger ones, almost like
No.
from
Wait, the
Halo.
Thrall. It was a Thrall.
Yeah, was it the Thrall?
It had to
Basic
be the
class
Thrall.
of
It had to
5,
be the Thrall.
brown color,
Okay.
very manly texture.
So
it was the Thrall.
we determined that they're called the Thrall, and I'm sure
If we're incorrect, we apologize. But
I wanted to say Thrall, but I was getting that confused with the Ogre. I was thinking the Thrall was more.
y'all brought up a point too. When I think of going back to Destiny, when I think of the 3 classes, you've got your Titan, your Wizard, and your Hunter. I always think of it like this: the Titan in the realm of warfare, the Titan is the tank that goes in ahead of everybody. You have your Wizards who are like your aircraft that drop the bombs. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have your foot soldiers. I'm not saying that the hunter's a foot soldier, or like your snipers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, gameplay was, like, you go and shock and awe them, run them over with a Titan, or hit them with a Wizard, push him back, sniper picks them off, and then...
I think a lot of the interesting gameplay is going to be from the multiple player classes working together. Because... it's different than a game like Halo or Call of Duty, where it's like, okay, we have different weapons maybe, and that's how we're going to be differentiated. You're talking about a game where and it's not even like Borderlands, because Borderlands, you have the different classes. You have significantly different classes, about as different as Destiny's classes are from one another, I would say, in the abilities and skills that you can do, but you're not fighting other people of the same thing.
You don't have the game mode.
Exactly. You don't have a versus like that where one team that has 2 Hunters, a Titan, and a Warlock will play significantly different than a team that has like 3 Titans and a Hunter or something like that. Just how they interact with each other and how they interact with the other team is going to be, I think, what makes Destiny's gameplay way better than what it could just be if everyone just had different weapons like they did in Halo.
Yeah.
This just how everything will mesh together, because I don't know if when you're playing, if you can tell if someone's a Blade Dancer or a Gunslinger, for example. I don't know if it says that. I don't recall.
No. From what I've seen, you have to actually inspect the players.
So if it doesn't, then you don't know what you're running into right there. You don't know if you're running into a Sunsinger, if you're running into a Voidwalker.
Because I was thinking, when you're saying that, the only thing I can think of that is that may have any indication whether or not those characters carry those traits at the moment would be, I'm reminded of when Bungie was talking about the game coming out, is that you can almost tell what level they are. Well, it gives a number with the level, but the gear that they carry, and maybe the bands, maybe the hoods, and maybe I'm staying away from this one because this one is definitely leveled up.
Exactly. Just having a visual recognition.
Still
like that.
Just a guess, though, whether or not they've had that.
And if they change it, that's one thing. And I don't really think that's going to affect things one way or another a whole lot. But being able to just having that dynamic there that you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if you see a Titan and a Hunter next to each other.
Yeah.
the Titan could throw up a shield, and the Hunter could be close quarters melee to prevent anyone from coming in.
Yeah.
Or if you have a Hunter and a Warlock, they could do the crowd control disorientation followed by the follow up from the Hunter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different mechanics that you can do with your different teams. And it's not even a thing where you should have one of each class on your team. 2 Hunters and a Warlock could work together phenomenally, or 2 Hunters and 2 Titans could work really well together, or something like that, where it's just the dynamics of who's playing what, and the fact that you can have different characters in Destiny that you level up your Titan, you level up your Warlock, you can level up your Hunter, and who you want to jump in at the particular time.
Yeah.
It could be interesting because you could say one day, I want to play as my Hunter, or I want to play as my Titan, and just have your own separate characters for those. And because I know I would probably want to play as at least those 2, and probably the Warlock, depending on how the specialization looks on the Warlock.
They did a good job. I don't care. It doesn't matter how you spread it, how you slice it. I really think.
It's
interesting. Awesome.
It's interesting. It's engaging. It sits well with me on a multiplayer gameplay standpoint, and it feels good. We were talking earlier about the world of Destiny.
Yeah.
Where a lot of games have in the past supported their games with DLC. Again, Borderlands is an example. They kept that game support with DLC up until 3 months ago or something when they released their last DLC. And that's an old game.
They've done well.
Yeah, they've supported it really well with it, but it's not the same tack that Destiny is taking. And I think it's very, very unique amongst first-person shooters like this, or even first-person RPGs like this. That Destiny, the world is created not with the intention that, hey, you're going to buy this game is going to be done when you buy it, and, you're going to add extra features on later, like extra maps and things like that, but it's designed as a world that is changing. They are going to add things. The story will continue as players are playing, and what you have in the game will continue evolving, and because from the ground up, Destiny, and that's why a lot of people are off put by how Destiny looks and plays.
Yeah,
because a lot of people see trailers of Destiny and they're like, that doesn't really look fun. It's because it's not about that quick engagement, like that. It's not necessarily about that. It's about the whole world. It's about exploring what has happened, exploring, everything with your friends and things like that, and because it's built from the ground up as a world that is going to be changing as opposed to an established one that they're going to explore more on later, the world evolving is I think is what's going to keep it interesting, and they've already said that in later incarnations of Destiny they are going to allow your character to carry over, and you're going to be playing with people who've been there since the beginning, and I know I'm going to be there, and I'm pretty sure all you guys are going to be there too.
Oh yeah.
But being with it from the very beginning and seeing how it evolves is very, very, very much the feeling I got from Halo. Very, very much. I am experiencing this amazing new world in Halo 1. The storyline is changing in Halo 2, and it is this feeling of something bigger. Is the feeling of something just overwhelming in the scope of things.
I want to add something again real quick, too, to what you're saying. One of the reasons I don't believe that I'll have any problem spending my money with Destiny is because of what we were just talking about. I believe, when I purchased Borderlands, and Borderlands 2, or COD, or even Battlefield, I purchased the subscription for the year, the annual subscription. But one of the things is with those games, you would look online, well, when's my next DLC? And you would know that, okay, like let's take COD right now for instance. They went with the acronym for Odin. Okay, every map pack was with the O, the D, the I, and the N. Right. Well, you knew that after 4 DLCs, that was going to complete your season pass.
Right. They have a plan, and you know what it is. So
10 years. 10 years with Destiny. 10 years.
With at least 2 expansions for each
10-year plan. Yeah, with at least 2. That's a 10-year plan. I don't have a problem. I don't know what's coming next.
Exactly.
Because with Battlefield and with COD, it was like I'd play it and then I'm finished with these maps. I'm ready for my next map pack.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
ready for
That's
the next
what it is.
thing.
It's like
Yeah.
you know it's maps.
Yeah.
You know it's maps. You know it might be guns or something like that.
Yeah.
So with Destiny, and even in games like Borderlands, where they include things like, okay, hey, we're going to give you new missions in addition to new guns and stuff, you know, and a new basic, thing to explore. Destiny, if I am reading what they're trying to how they're trying to go with this correctly, they're going to be giving you a new expansion onto the world. They're going to be giving you just more than a new mission and more than a new weapon or a new map.
Yeah.
That's what they said in the Ghost Edition unboxing video.
It's going to be...
They're going to give you more than what you usually expect.
It's going to be all about creating the world instead of... Borderlands built off the existing Pandora. Borderlands said, Pandora is this, let's just add more missions to it. This is building onto something. And it's been very, very vague.
Which I like. People
Bungie
on the forums got mad. People on the forums were like, you aren't telling us anything. You're not giving us anything.
I'm sorry.
Good. Don't
have
spoil
you dealt with Bungie before? Bungie is the master of like keeping things wrapped up in riddles and mystery and things like that. ODST. Oh my god! All the extra stuff that you can get in ODST, all the little hints. For goodness sake, I didn't even realize the superintendent was helping me in ODST until halfway through.
Yeah.
Like, it was subtle. It was, hinted at. Like, I heard the chimes and stuff, and I saw the things. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And there was something more to it. That's what I feel like Bungie's going with Destiny, is that, look, we have the Watcher. We have the Last City. We have this thing that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure it out. The people who are in the Last City are trying to figure out what happened, or trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out what exactly the frickin' Watcher thing is, just like we are.
Yeah.
Traveler. Sorry.
Traveler, my bad. I don't know why I said Watcher. But,
it does sound like someone who would be in Destiny.
But anyway,
maybe that's what the Huntress is called, that is
Watcher.
looking at you.
Yeah.
The what?
If you played through the segment of the beta where they opened up the moon, you once again see a female hunter, the Huntress, just kind of watching you after you got through a battle when the
That's when you
mausoleum
picked up
opened.
the dead ghost, right? After you picked up right before you picked up the dead ghost.
When you found the dead guardian, that you went there to try and find out what happened to him, and also it was the one that when you first got your ship, and when you first got the ship in the very first mission, that's the one that was watching you. So.
You don't think we're ready for Destiny, do you?
Huh?
You don't think we're anticipating Destiny?
No. I think it's definitely very low on our radar. We're just it's one of those games just going to release and fall underneath everyone's expectations. Yeah,
wow.
No.
I don't think I'm going to play it at all.
We'll probably pick it up like twice.
I'll supplement it.
But I love the fact that they're being vague with it. They're not saying, this is what happened. Oh, humanity encountered this threat, and then this happened, and this happened, and then now we're here. You go in there not really knowing what happened. It's like, all we know is that the Traveler's here. This is the last city we have here, and everything went crazy everywhere else. What's going on? So you're trying to explore. You're trying to figure it out, and in expanding the world, Bungie's going to facilitate that. They're going to be, okay, here are answers to your questions. Not, here's a new mission you can do for XP and loot.
Right.
We are going to answer something. We're going to put new questions in. It's like, that is so far above and beyond things that a lot of games have done. It's not, have a new mission, have a new area, have a new map, have new weapons. It's, you were wondering this. You were stuck there, and this is now going to let you find your answers.
Lost art of storytelling, right there.
Bungie has never had a problem with that, and that's what I love about. That's why I trust them with Destiny here.
Oh, yeah.
The storytelling, ODST storyline, one of the best that I've seen in a first-person shooter like that. Just even the way it was explained, like, it was so different, so unique. You wanted to fill in the gaps. You wanted to go through New Mombasa, and you wanted to find out what happened. It wasn't just...
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Yeah, it wasn't...
No, that's it. I'm new to Bungie, and not to bring up a sore subject. I'm just saying, at least people who play PlayStation
versus Xbox.
We're actually getting to get something that's like this, not just the cookie cutter stuff.
Right.
And it thrills me, that finally we get to get something that has a wonderful storyline, that is not given away, that you're not just giving me a new camo and a new weapon. You're giving me something to unlock,
something to want to do. It's like, I want to go and I want to find out.
Yeah.
I want to explore. And
I want that in my game. I want that feeling of exploration where you don't know the full backstory, or pretty much you don't know anything about what's in front of you. The last city.
Yeah, how did I die?
How did it become the last city?
Right. They don't say that. They don't say this is what happened to make it the last city. They just said the traveler came here and protected us. It's like they don't know why. We don't know why. And Bungie's always done. If you've played through Halo, you'll know about the terminals. You'll know about the Easter eggs and stuff like that they have included that are incredibly vague. They're vague, but they tie into an overarching canon that they have there. Because I know I got the creeps, or I got the chills when I first started reading through the terminals. I'm like, what are they talking about here? I want to know more about the Forerunners. I want to know more about what happened with the Flood. I want to know more about all of this because they're giving me these little morsels. They're giving me these little things that make me want to explore it and not just dumping out a dissertation on it and saying this is everything that happened. Yeah. Eventually with the books and everything, I mean, it got more fleshed out. But I feel like if they can do the same thing they did with Destiny with the... feeling of desiring more knowledge about it that they did in Halo, at least for me, then I'm going to fall in love with Destiny's gameplay. I'm going to fall in love with Destiny's story and Destiny's world, and that's the whole point of Destiny, is to love the world that they've created. There is to be immersed in that world, rather than just visiting it for 5 minutes and just forgetting about it forever.
It's a complete package, dude.
And Bungie is also the masters of Easter eggs.
Yeah,
because I mean, you're just walking through ODST and you see the just one of the posters hanging there on the wall with the blue orb and the white orb above it, where it could be considered as oh well, that's the Earth, obviously, but maybe that's the moon. No, it was an Easter egg for Destiny.
Yeah.
Bungie has a habit of planning their stuff for a long time. If anyone remembers, way before ODST came out, there was one point in time where I think their site went down, but because they meant it to be. They took it down and had the superintendent there for a day, please pardon our dust thing there, and no one knew what the fuck that was about. No one had any idea what was going on. They were whoa, what's happening here? And that was way before ODST was even announced that they did that, if I recall correctly.
Probably, yeah.
And then you come out later, it's they already had thought of that. And I love how much forethought Bungie's able to put into these things. And again, that puts it so far above and beyond games like Call of Duty and stuff that you can tell had zero forethought. They didn't have an overarching connectivity in mind and that epic scale of scope that Bungie and Destiny is going to have.
I think I used to be a big fan of Call of Duty. Really, I used to play because there really wasn't that much else out there for us on the station.
Right.
But I've always remembered feeling, aside from the storyline that was okay at best for me. I mean, I'm sure there's people that think it's the greatest storyline ever, and that's fine. I just felt like it was flat.
Yeah,
just very flat.
It felt like a movie. You watched it, and there were your plot twists, and there were your things, but the characters weren't developed for the most part. A couple of characters I kind of got attached to. I will say that. Woods in Black Ops. I actually really liked him as a character. But yeah, overall, I do agree that the storyline was flat. You didn't buy that game for the story. Most people didn't anyway, because it was a heavily multiplayer game.
Well, speaking of a cold storyline, did you happen to see the Ice Bucket Challenge on YouTube?
The Bungie one where the ghost got it.
I thought that was cute.
And I mean, I always found it cool that Bungie can do stuff like that. Bungie has always done things with their community, especially the best community that I have ever seen out of any video game developer, period, has been Bungie and their community.
Yeah.
Bungie has always made shout-outs to their community, has always helped them out, and has always done just cool things like that in order to bond with their community. And the community, I have always appreciated it, and I think the community as a whole appreciates that Bungie knows that their users are important. Whereas I guarantee you that EA doesn't care about your Battlefield character, that Activision or Infinity Ward, you're literally another statistic to their what preferences people use, or oh yeah, you're a number.
Yeah.
Bungie is you're a community, you're all people, and we appreciate that you come to play our games that we love to make.
Well, in the news bringing that up, one of the things I was reading was how Sony they haven't parted way with EA, but they weren't too happy with the way they treated their customers with the add-on packages or the subscription packages.
Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely nothing like the guys at Bungie.
No, Bungie's community has always surpassed all expectations, and I mean, they've just been good developers. Say what you will about their games, say what you will about their business practices or whatever, but one thing that I will never waver from is that Bungie is the most dedicated to their community that I have ever seen in a developer in all time in any video game ever. Bungie has been the most dedicated to their user base.
I feel like I gush over them because it's like dating someone, finding a brand new girlfriend. You're all excited because, like I said, coming from the Sony side of things or from the PlayStation side of things, the first time that I logged on to Bungie's website at Bungie.net, I was reading the forums, and right off the bat, you could tell that there was something different. Especially the way the admins and all that, they would talk back to the people. You didn't feel like you were putting a post up there and just waiting, and you just got left hanging. There was some serious replies, and you really felt welcomed in. You felt like, or I felt, as if you could tell, you could feel the care.
Yeah.
And I gush every time I talk about them because I'm just like,
I was and still am floored by just how much that actually matters, and it's because it's a weird thing nowadays. It's weird for a company to care about their consumers. It's what are you talking about? And I really think that Destiny, being the massively multiplayer kind of RPG that it is going to facilitate that more. Remember, this whole community came out when we were dealing with Halo, when we were dealing with a game that was still about just people shooting each other's faces off in competition, and somehow that community came about because Bungie fostered it. Now, imagine when you're talking about a game that is
cooperation in games that you have your character with your stats and things like that. That puts more investment into it. Halo, you don't have investment in your character. You might have your armor and stuff in Halo, but you don't have investment in it. You don't have levels. You don't have your gear. In Destiny, I think that's going to bring the community, make them even better by saying now we're in this massively multiplayer environment where not only 16 people get on at a time, you're talking about like hundreds and hundreds of people who are interacting at any given point, and it's this big, it's just an expansion of their community. And I think because that's one of Bungie's strongest suits, that an MMO like this was a natural progression of the fact that their community's been so dedicated.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to. It's almost an awesome marketing, point, because with the other games, some of them that I play, some of them have web stores and stuff like that where you can purchase products and items, or purchase neat packs and stuff like that. But with Destiny and the way Bungie is with their people, I am more willing to not just consider but purchase from to help keep that company running.
Especially since they won't be doing the pay to win.
Yeah, definitely.
They said that I'm expecting things that it might be additional inventory slots, maybe, and
still with Bungie, I expect it to be primarily aesthetic, which is what most pay
maybe
stores
some
should
armor.
be. Or maybe some armor that isn't overpowered,
Exactly.
but is just there.
Yeah, something that you could still expect to find in the game, but it's not going to to give you drastic advantage over other characters.
And I like that Bungie gets it. I like that Bungie knows that gamers don't want. Gamers don't want, almost universally don't want pay to win. The only people who want pay to win are the developers who are getting the money off of pay to win.
Oh yeah.
But they know the gamers all almost, like I said, universally hate pay to win, and Bungie being in tune with that again.
I have a friend online that in some of the other games that we play, he purchases like all the packs and all the play to win features and stuff like that, and you hardly see him in the game at all.
Because he already beat it.
Yeah,
there's
no
he
fun
bought
in
the
it.
end of the game.
Yeah.
It's like that's fun. That's why I play video games, right? So I can just pay to get to the end.
Yeah, let me waste that. That's the quickest money you've ever spent.
Let's play debit card Swiper 3000 and just let me get to the end. There,
Swiper no survive.
Right.
Swiper no swiping.
It's like, I don't know. Their Destiny is going to be amazing. Destiny is going to be, just a completely different experience, I think, over what we've had before, because it's not trying to conform necessarily to the things that they've done before, things that other people have done before. It's not trying to be your competitive first-person shooter. It's not trying to be, Borderlands with its expansion packs. It's not trying to be anything else. I think that it's trying to be one of its own standalone games as well. I mean, it is what's going to set it apart, just like it set apart all other good games that have, a lot of other good games have come before it. Mass Effect, BioShock, even Halo, and The Last of Us, and things like that. It's not something that is cookie cutter. It's something new.
My opinion, like you said, though, in my opinion, going off of what you said, I think, and again, this is from a newbie to Bungie, from the Sony side, they honored a basic principle. They put the customer first. Mm-hmm. They put, the community first. And in my opinion, I think, it blows my mind because you see so many companies failing because they can't get games off the shelves, and in turn we lose titles. We lose games. I think if most companies would follow that template or that that basic principle, keep the consumer first, Don't worry about all this other stuff. Let's give them something. Let's not make a quick buck real quick.
Right.
Let's put something out that's going to be fulfilling, and let's play with the community. Let's have fun with them. Let's organize developer play days.
Exactly. Right. Like Bungie did that all the time, and they were just because they were human. Like I don't see Bungie as this big, like, monolithic corporation.
Right.
I see them as a couple of as like a group of people just hanging out in the office making games.
Yeah.
That's the image that they give off. That's how they treat people. They're like, we're just a bunch of gamers like you guys.
We grab our console one
exactly.
time.
It's like, it's not like EA were like, we gave this to you. You owe us now. It's like, okay, EA, freaking whatever. Do what you want to do. Bungie's like, yeah, we make games that we
Let's
like
play.
to play.
Let's play. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't. Okay, we can record over 2 hours. That's good.
He had his fingers crossed over here because he didn't know if he could record over.
Oh
He's
no, because
holding
like
in high
earlier.
anticipation right now.
Now I'm going to read this off the bottom of the recording right now. Please note. Disk space remaining for recording 291 hours and 29 minutes, and he's over here having his fingers crossed at 2 hours.
We're close to the
That was stupid of
mark.
me. Yes, I will mark that. I will say that was stupid of me.
No,
I keep forgetting that's there.
I see how you were kind of close. I mean, 291 and 2?
That's very close. It's very close.
It's like right there.
It's got one of the same numbers in
We
it.
missed it by that much.
Yeah, just by
Well, at the rate we're going, I'm pretty sure we could fill all 291 hours with the
On and on.
Destiny.
with Destiny talk. Yeah, we should just
Talk about your. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about your editions now, or you want to talk about the?
Where's the fun in that? We're discussing Destiny right now. I think we got Destiny month kicked off a little sooner,
early?
little early, just a
Yeah,
little.
it's August. It's basically
Like a
September.
week
We're
or
making
two.
up because once we get in.
Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna be vegetating.
Destiny.
We're gonna be like vegetables for a while after Destiny comes
But
out.
if you don't hear from us for a while, then
Destiny ate us.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what happened. We're inside of the city. Please send help because we're not getting out on our own.
There is a chance that Destiny month might just become Game Scoop Thursday disappears month. Hopefully that won't be the case.
We'll go from Game Scoop Thursdays to Game Scoop October.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I don't know. In my case, I'll probably be doing the podcast while playing at the same time.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Sure.
I think doing it over something like Skype or something would be kind of cool. Since we finally got the whole recording thing.
Yeah, now that
Thanks
Skype
to the
is in
webmaster.
Yes.
All bow to the webmaster.
I need a cape. Can I have a cape?
Hunters have some nice clothes too.
Oh, they do
have
those.
those.
Oh my god, I can't tell you how much I actually kind of want one of those cloaks. I don't know if that's super nerdy of me or not, but I think that would be awesome.
Well, we were talking
Look who
about
you're talking to.
fabricating them. Trying to fabricate them.
Somebody went and designed 3 hunter cloaks, and you're just looking at it like,
God.
okay, they either need to make an edition with those cloaks in them, or just,
They just
release them.
Yeah, give me like a hunter.
Send me one.
Scarf.
I want the Warlock's coat.
You know what they should have done? They should have released three editions. They should have released the Warlock, the Titan, and the Hunter
Yeah,
edition.
we were thinking. I actually brought that up.
The
at
Warlock
one
should
point.
have had an arm bangle. The Titan,
or
the Titan, okay.
or at least just taking some of
A
the
sweater. A sweater with a silk
Titan-
screen armor on the front.
Titan. You get a Titan.
What does
they
Titan
get
get unique?
they get the slash. They get like a slash.
Oh, they have a sash at the side.
Yeah,
of the
sash.
I was like,
So-
No, yeah,
I wanna
they
say
have their
slash.
sash on their leg, so that would have been the Titans, and the Hunter would have. Okay,
Hunter
the
would've
Hunter would have
gotten a
gotten
cloak.
one of the small cloaks because giving the Hunter one of the long cloaks would have like made it disproportionate to the other ones. Because they have the small cloaks
Yeah.
that just go like over like the shoulder.
Yeah,
Medium-sized
the
cloak.
beginner ones.
Yeah, they have the medium ones that go like mid back, and then the long ones that
Let's-
go all the way to the bottom.
Let's go with the medium one.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone. Would
Okay,
want to
fine.
walk
Then,
around with the short
then
one.
you're gonna have to make like the Hunter's the Titan sash out of silk, and you're gonna have to
Titans don't get anything because they have that Titan fist, man.
to just give them a replica of the glove.
Yeah.
Just punch people.
Latex glove that's,
Get-
it's got Sharpie on it.
Give Titans a helmet. Everybody else gets something else.
I feel like we're leaving the Titans out of a little bit of the love.
Yeah.
You know, no, that's one thing. If you listen to Guardian Radio, there is Titan hatred there.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I think Titan Hatred will go.
It's because they're a regular class and they're not something that engages as much as the other classes
They're
do.
monsters.
But I think the Titan does have its own place. I think the Titan does have its own respect that it has there, and I'd have to see how they play overall. Because as far the Titans are more
OP?
focused. The Titans are more focused on weapons, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Like traditional gunplay.
You know, to be perfectly honest, I didn't spend time playing as a Titan. I was too busy warlocking.
Yeah, I think the Titans.
That's all you did.
I'm fairly certain the Titan is gunplay focused, like a traditional first-person shooter, and I feel like the Titan can provide a very,
if not, that's its at least stereotypical role.
I think the Titan can provide a very stable, very reliable character that I would want on my team. To know that we have that constant beating force in between the Titan splat or in between the Warlock splash damage.
You worded it correctly. That the Titan what?
The beating force.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's why there's Titan hatred, because they're tanks.
Yeah, and that was absolutely nothing. The Guardian Radio having Titan hatred, that was absolutely nothing against them, because I participate in the Titan hatred, but hey, that's where the fun and the banter comes in.
It's
among
an alpha
people.
and in beta. The balancing is yet to come. We may see the Titans be significantly different in performance when we actually get them in the final release. And I mean, it's the same thing. If anyone remembers the Reach beta, do you remember the handheld nukes that they gave you for grenades?
I love grenades.
Oh my god, those things would kill you from the edge of their blast radius. And they're like, okay, that's totally overpowered. We're sorry. Let's tone it down a notch.
How about invisibility? You know, in the Reach beta, after the Reach beta, I called invisibility transparency, because once you started walking, you would become a little more visible. Versus, as in the beta, you were just completely invisible running around for those 10 or so seconds.
Sort of. But it still had the movement penalty, but not as harsh as it did in the final release. The final release, if you move more than a crawl, you will immediately be almost completely visible. Invisibility, they definitely got nerfed as well.
I mean, I loved it in the Reach beta, because I just remember there was this one moment where we were on Sword Base, and I was running up one of the stairwells by where the grav lift would go up to the 3rd level, and I just remember some guy in the enemy team was chasing me up the stairway, so I ducked into the room, hit invisibility, and just stood by the wall. Mm-hmm. He came walking through, and I just shot him with a shotgun, and I just ended up laughing, because I'm like, well, you see this all the time in movies and things, but it actually worked.
It actually works. I had a very similar experience in the Reach beta when we were playing on Powerhouse. It ended up being me and this other guy that were fighting each other, and the other guy had active camo too, so it was a fight of how to use camo and how not to use camo. He started I forget what it was. He started shooting me, or I started running away, or something happened where he was behind me, and I went around one of the one of the big cover pillars on Powerhouse and hit my camo and started crouching and moving slowly. This dude also has camo and comes up with the brilliant idea to run straight at me with it, so he is completely visible. He ends up running right past me as I'm completely cloaked on behind the pillar, and end up assassinating him, which just felt so good. The assassinations felt so delightful in Halo Reach. But yeah, they do listen to their community when it comes to things things being unbalanced, because they released. If the community didn't say anything, if they didn't care about the community, they may not have fixed grenades, for example, from the Reach beta. And just I think that any imbalance that's there in Destiny right now, regarding Titans and regarding just overall the player balance, will be addressed if it's a big enough issue to cause problems.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they have month and a half since the beta ended and before release, so I'm sure that they probably had other builds, other game, maybe just depending on what feedback is, they'll just enter that code in.
Yeah, basically.
Just see if that is what everybody wanted.
I think the big thing too to keep in mind with the character models, in Destiny, is because I was looking at the website, is understanding who they are, again, what they do, and is listed by their website. The hunter is known to be agile, adaptive, and instinctive. So, your warlock is known to be. He uses arcane power. He's regenerative and he's strategic. And then the Titan. I don't hate Titans. They're known for their power, though. So basically, armored, powerful, and disciplined. Yeah. So it's just going to be a whole bunch of strategic work.
They're your rocks. I would love to have one on my team. I would hate fighting against them, but I would really appreciate one being on my team. And I think a lot of people have to take that into consideration. It's like, okay, you hate the Titan when he's on the other team.
Yes.
You don't hate him when he's on your team. You love the Titan when he's on your team. But
that's kind of like the Interceptor, at least on First Light on the moon. If the Interceptor was in your team's control, well, yeah, you'd love the thing. But if it was in the enemy's hands, then good luck.
Pick up heavy gear and blow them away.
Pick up whatever you can. Find the ammo, snipe them out,
stay
Nova
away.
bomb them, just something. Yeah. Whatever you could do to bring it down, take it down. So, I mean, Interceptor, I will definitely be interested to see how exactly that is different.
Every time that map opened up, you were on one.
I wanted to get on one.
I didn't have to worry about where you were.
Love those things.
That's how I felt with the Falcon in Rage. If there's a Falcon on the map, I was there first. I was an asshole with the Falcon too, because I don't know if you remember, but in Halo Reach, when you one guy got into the Falcon before me over on Spire, and I was kind of pissed because I like flying the Falcon and I was an asshole. So what you could do is you know how the Falcon had the exposed propellers up at the top? He was sitting there in the cockpit. I can't get him out without betraying him, and I don't want to do that because I'm not that much of an asshole. But what I end up doing is I jump up onto the propeller. He gets a betrayal because he's piloting the Falcon, and I booted him to get on the Falcon. I was kind of a dick.
The boot.
I thought you were
because
gonna...
think about it that way. It's like, it's literally not your fault at all. Like, you just sat there and just got booted. That's what happened.
You got the boot.
I thought you were going to say something like you got the grenade launcher and just EMP'd the Falcon so it falls and blows up or something.
That would be cool too.
Good idea.
But, I mean, that way... that's the I'm gonna get in your face and really show you how I feel about it.
Right, it's like, God, I wanted this and I don't like you anymore for taking this. Like, I don't want to kill you because, like...
Then I get booted. But...
Well, yeah, because I get booted and I feel mean. I don't know why I feel less mean booting him.
Because you didn't really humiliate anybody.
I didn't really kill
because
you.
Other people who are paying attention to the screen will just see so-and-so betrayed so-and-so and booted, but they don't know the full backstory to that, possibly.
No, they don't know that I was an evil mastermind.
Oh, man. Good times in Reach.
Mm-hmm. Reach was one of my favorite Halo games. The multiplayer was super solid.
It was. I mean, it ran a little bit slower than Halo 3.
Yeah.
But it was still good.
It's because of them graphics.
Graphics? Did that make a difference? I don't. I just thought it was a little.
Are you talking about gameplay slower? Or are you talking about frame slower? Because they ran slower on both.
Gameplay slower.
They ran slower on both. Because it still ran on the 360 and they just upped the graphics, which the 360 was already teetering on like schizophrenia by then. Like it was about to die because the 360 deserves a lot of respect. Not because it's a good console necessarily. I love the 360 to death. But because it's been able to survive so many different iterations and updates and things that Microsoft has hammered into the 360. Here, have Netflix. Here, have internet. Dink, dink, dink. Hitting it over and over again with things. Here, now you can do 720. It was never designed to do that, ever. And the fact that it just kept loading things on top of it is a testament to like how hilarious the Xbox 360 actually was.
Well, I think this would probably be a good stopping point after
Probably.
all that.
If not,
Sure.
I think we could carry.
Yeah, we could definitely carry on, but
Well, I mean, we can keep talking about Destiny for another 2
Destiny,
hours.
we could. We could probably be here a whole night and into early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but
talking
let's
about
just split
Destiny.
this up into like 3 or 4 different podcasts so we have material to give you guys next week. As
Exactly,
opposed to just
exactly.
dumping it all here. Because
Yes, 'cause-
if you've made it to this point,
Congratulations.
we
yeah,
love you.
exactly. I'd sincerely like to give you
A cookie.
just a quick high five or just a quick clap here.
There you go.
because-
Everybody give them a hand if they made it. You feel better.
Because I'm going to be honest, I probably wouldn't. If I had to listen to me talk for 2 hours, I would have been gone. I probably would have like made a sandwich and like watched a movie or something.
But rest assured, we will probably be back with at least 4 more 2+ hour episodes.
If you don't
Next
like,
week,
if you don't
starting
like
next week.
listening about Destiny talk, we're probably just going to start including a spoiler tag at the beginning of our
Probably.
Destiny discussion. Like, okay, thank you for hanging on with us so far. Now it's Destiny. Click, so you can hang up
Yes.
there if that's where you want to stop.
So
Give me the heads
pretty
up.
much, if you do listen to us, and if you do want to continue to listen to us, if you don't like us talking about Destiny, just don't listen the entire month of September.
Or October.
Or
Well,
just
yeah, some select
that'll be the
days in
after
October.
effect. That'll be
That
the
will be the after
afterglow.
effect.
Or just let us know if we're going on too much about something, and we'll see what we can do. We do have our email address up and running finally.
Yes, we do.
It's feedback@gamescoopthursdays.com. So go ahead and just shoot an email that way. If you feel that we're going on about absolutely nothing, or if you have particularly strong emotions one way or another, or if you just want to say hi.
Drop us a line.
You
Doesn't have to
can
be
drop it
negative.
too. Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of lonely, so if you want to,
Oh.
if I get an email, that'll brighten my day.
And you can actually reach
We're not going to
Jeremy
use this as a
specifically.
public dating service, are we?
You can also reach Jeremy specifically if you encounter a problem with our website, which is GameScoopThursdays.com. He is also the main handler of support at GameScoopThursdays.com.
Yes, I
which-
am. Please try your best to not have problems. If you do have problems, which I completely expect to happen, just email me and I'll see what I can do. It's probably something that I forgot to click or something that I forgot to turn on or off.
Like unhiding the podcast section of the forums.
Okay, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yes,
like
yes.
literally with that, I just forgot to turn on the section. Like, that's all that is.
It's like, well, if you log in, if you create an account and log in, it's there. But if you log out and look at it, it's not there.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't
So,
worry.
I mean, it's interesting. So, I mean, we do have our forums, at least the very, very basic settings of the
Super
forums.
basic. We have 3 sections.
I think we got a general area.
Oh, hey, if you have ideas for forum sections, feedback, GameScoopThursdays.com, whatnot. Just
Whatnot.
Yes,
Backslash
yes,
whatnot.
backslash whatnot. Just let us know, or just post it on the frickin' forums. Well, like, we're trying to come up with ideas for new forums, forum ideas, new places on there too. So
I don't actually put backslash whatnot into the
There's
web
no
address
backslash
because I
whatnot.
have
No.
no idea where that would even send you to.
I hope you. No, we're kidding.
Right.
I mean, you can label it backslash whatever
Oh.
or whatnot, and we'll
We're not gonna
know
label
we'll know what you mean.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, gonna bring something up real quick and see what everybody thinks real quick.
Mhm.
In October, in October, what you're looking out for? Samurai Warriors, Skylanders, the team, Trap Team Dark, Tropico 5, Walking Dead completes first season, Walking Dead season 2, WWE 2K15's coming out for everybody who's a Hulkamaniac because they got the Hulkamania edition. Alien Isolation.
Whoa!
I know we got some people waiting for that.
Whoa, that was my excitement.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's not bad. Actually, Assassin's
I think
Creed.
I'm ready.
I'm
I'm
looking
ready
forward
for
to
that.
that,
Yeah. The Evil Within.
I've heard things about it. I haven't
It
really
is
looked into
creepy
it.
looking,
I
man.
know at least Curtis is looking forward to that one.
For all you go-go's out there, you got Just Dance coming out. Lords of the Fallen's also coming out. NBA 2K15, NBA Live, Project Spark
I'll
Starter.
be getting that one.
Project Spark.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
And let's see what else. Real quick, we got also for the Xbox, you got the Skylanders Trap Edition, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Sunset Overdrive. I've heard a
That's
lot
gonna
about
be a
that
good
one.
You know what I'm excited about Sunset Overdrive? I'm excited about the white Xbox One. That's what I'm
Yes.
excited about. It looks kind of fun
Yeah.
by itself, but the white Xbox One looks absolutely gorgeous. Like,
So-
that is a
Definitely.
beautiful piece of technology.
I hope they at least come out with the white controller because I will pick.
No,
one
no,
of
I
the-
will steal someone's white controller.
Well, you'll probably. Well,
He
no,
said I'll steal
you'll need
somebody's
it at
white
least
controller.
before Destiny.
Right, exactly.
So never
I'm
mind.
gonna go just if even though I get a black Xbox One, I'm taking that controller from somewhere, something.
Keep
If they don't
yours
sell it
chained
by
up.
So you're just gonna go into a store and be like, "Hey, can I just buy the controller on the box?"
No, I'm just gonna pay for the console and get the controller, right?
pay for the console, take the controller. I'll go back and be like, "Hey, so I opened this and there was no controller in it."
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Why not?
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how that happened. If someone along the delivery route took it out,
I
or
want to speak to your manager.
if they just forgot to put it in
Oh my gosh, we love to hear that. Can I speak to your manager?
Yeah, retail.
Sure.
So that will wrap things up. And, don't forget to find us at GameScoopThursdays.com. Email us at feedback and support at GameScoopThursdays.com. Join up on our forums. There will be great discussions going on there, I hope, in the future. Hopefully. You can also find us on Facebook. Find our page, GameScoop Thursdays. And you can follow us on Twitter at GameStop. Not GameStop. Wow. You can follow us on Twitter at GameScoopThurs, THURS.
He didn't want to put the day.
Or go see us
That
at
would be too
GameStop.
long. Let's leave people with, that's already a pretty long Twitter handle, so let's leave them with as much of those 140 characters as they possibly can.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the nice thing to do. So,
Come on.
all
Can
right.
handle 140 characters long.
But I don't even know if that's possible. If it is, I don't know what you'd even do with that.
Nothing. Just that's it. That's the entirety. You can't address it ever.
No, I mean, no one would be able to reply to you.
Exactly. You can't say anything because it takes up all the space.
Sometimes that's the best kind.
Yeah, it could be you say something very strange, well, then no one can get on to you
Does
about it.
everybody say their name and who we are as we close?
If you want, I mean, this is
Yeah.
Alex O'Connor signing off.
Joe.
Oh, and Jeremy, the webmaster who has yet to
Bow
receive his cake.
now.
All right.
Bye,
so
guys.
we look forward to bringing episode
Bye.
3 next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.